because gangbangers ride around here, and you don't know what they're going to do next. You don't know if they're upset or the moods they're in, and I'm scared they might.
The Oakland Athletics and the San Francisco Giants, with the A's leading in the World Series 2-0. Hi again, everyone. I'm Al Michaels. At this very moment, 10 days ago, we began our telecast with an aerial view of San Francisco, always a spectacular sight, and particularly so on that day because the cloudless sky of October 17th was ice blue, and the reflections of the late day sun sparkled like 1,000 jewels. That picture was very much a mirror of the feel and the mood that had enveloped the Bay Area and indeed most of Northern California. Their baseball teams, the Giants and the Athletics, had won pennants, and the people of this region were still basking in the afterglow of each team's success. And this great American sporting classic, the World Series, was for the time being exclusively theirs. Then, of course, that feeling of pure radiance was transformed into horror and grief and despair in 15 seconds. And now, on October 27th, like a fighter who's taken a vicious blow to the stomach and has groggily arisen, this region moves on and moves ahead. And one part of that scenario is the resumption of the World Series. No one in this ballpark tonight, no player, no vendor, no fan, no writer, no announcer, in fact, no one in this area, period, can forget the images, the column of smoke in the marina, the severed bridge, the grotesque tangle of concrete in Oakland. The pictures are embedded in our minds. And while the mourning and the agonizing and the after effects continue, in about 30 minutes, the plate umpire, Vic Voltaggio, will say, "Play ball." And the players will play, the vendors will sell, the crowd will exhort, the announcers will announce. And for many of the 6 million people in this region, it will be like revisiting Fantasyland. But Fantasyland is where baseball comes from anyway. And maybe right about now, that's the perfect place for a 3-hour rest. Before the game tonight, you'll hear from the commissioner of baseball, the mayors of San Francisco and Oakland, and the managers of the two teams. Right now, to Gary Thorne with Fay Vincent.
Thank you, Al. Commissioner, the winds of fate in the past 6 months have certainly found you. Your personal thoughts as you get set for Game 3 here tonight?
Well, they're complicated thoughts. I guess I think first of the people who've suffered the last 2 weeks. I'm sorry for them. I'm delighted, on the other hand, that baseball can be a symbol of recovery, and I guess personally I'm just thrilled to be able to see a good ball game.
As you get ready for this one, there's been so much discussion about putting the game in perspective. Your comment on that?
Well, I think one of our objectives was to keep baseball in its place over this last week and a half. I think we did that. Now I think baseball belongs where it is, on the field, and we're very happy to be playing.
And all the discussion also about what it might do for this area. By the sound of this crowd tonight, they are ready for the game to be played.
Well, they are. That's not a surprise to me. I had every belief that they would be ready for baseball. Now I think this represents a recovery of San Francisco and the area. It's a wonderful feeling.
Commissioner, thank you.
Thank you, Gary.
Al?
Okay, Gary, there is a special ceremony about to take place. For that, let's join the PA announcer, Jeffrey Bonds.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we ask that you please rise for a special ceremony. 10 days ago at this time, as we prepared for Game 3 of the World Series here at Candlestick Park, a major earthquake shook Northern California, killing dozens of people and widespread destruction throughout the Bay Area. Please join together now to observe a moment of silence in memory of those who perished in this disaster. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, Major League Baseball, the San Francisco Giants, and the Oakland A's share not only in the community's tragic sense of loss, but also in its legendary spirit of resurrection from such a catastrophe. Nowhere is the spirit embodied more than in the 1936 song San Francisco, as popularized by Jeanette MacDonald in the film of the same name about the city's recovery from the great earthquake and fire of 1906. In tribute to this undaunted vitality of Northern California, and to your own camaraderie as baseball fans, let's all turn and shake hands with those around us. Then join with the cast of the award-winning San Francisco musical review, Beach Blanket Babylon, for a rousing rendition of San Francisco.
Temperature in the 60s, and I'm joined by two men who have been rather busy of late. Art Agnos is with me, the mayor of San Francisco, and across the bay in his office in Oakland is Mayor Lionel Wilson. And Mayor Agnos, I'll begin with you. How is the recovery process going for your city, the city of San Francisco?
It's superb. San Francisco is ready and is as hot as the World Series is right out there today. The cable cars are running. Chinatown is bustling. Fisherman's Wharf is open, and the city is back, just like the World Series.
What about the major problems that you will have ahead now?
Well, our major problems are going to be rebuilding the homes that were affected in that small part of the city, that in the marina that was so heavily impacted, a couple of other isolated areas. And the people of this city have rebounded superbly. We've gotten tremendous support from all over the nation, from every American. It seems as though it's been terrific.
Mayor Wilson, how about your city, the city of Oakland, and its recovery process? How is it going?
Well, we're well on the way to recovery, although it's early yet, because there have been so many aftershocks that it's difficult to tell what the final tally is going to be in terms of the damage. But the people are together. It's been marvelous to see the way the people in the community have come together. I've never seen them come together around any other problem or any other issue, the way they have come together around this earthquake and the problems entailed to it. So we're coming along well.
The most important problem, sir, that you and your city will face in the near future, what will they be?
Well, the most important problem for us also will be housing. Housing those whom we had to dispossess, those we had to evacuate out of their homes of whatever nature they were, and the rebuilding and providing houses and homes for the people.
Your Coliseum, we understand, will be ready for games 6 and 7, but I would assume you are hoping that that's a moot point at this point.
Well, it is a moot point, and our Coliseum is ready. It's ready right now, and if we had to go today as far as the Coliseum itself is concerned, that Coliseum would be ready. So it's in good shape.
A final thought from you, Mayor Agnos?
Well, I just want to say thank you to the Commissioner of Baseball and Major League Baseball for the extraordinary contribution that they've made in terms of their understanding, their sympathy, as have all Americans around the country and friends from all over the world, Japan and Taiwan. And a lot of people have been asking what they can do to help, and I'd just like to say that the Northern California Earthquake Fund, care of the Bank of America, or they can call a toll-free number of 1-900-386-0101 to help us with this recovery. We're very grateful to everyone.
All right, gentlemen, thank you very much. Game 3 of the World Series coming up shortly. We'll return to Candlestick Park right after this message and an ABC News brief.
Tribute to the spirit of competition from MCI. Proof that commitment to excellence brings out the best.
I like to wander and roam. I like to call back home.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Candlestick Park for Game 3 of the 1989 World Series. With tonight's starting lineups, here's the voice of the San Francisco Giants, Hank Greenwald.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Here are the starting lineups for tonight's game. First, from the American League champion, Oakland A's. The manager, number 10, Tony La Russa. Fielder, number 24, Ricky Henderson. Batting second and playing third base, number 4, Carney Lansford. Hitting third and playing right field, number 33, Jose Canseco. First baseman, number 25, Mark McGuire. Hitting fifth and playing center field, number 42, Dave Henderson. Batting sixth and catching, number 36, Terry Steinbach. Hitting seventh, the second baseman, number 2, Tony Phillips. Batting eighth, the shortstop, number 7, Walt Weiss. And batting ninth and pitching for the A's tonight, warming up in the bullpen, number 34, Dave Stewart, and the rest of the non-starters and coaches for the Oakland A's. And now for the National League champion San Francisco Giants. The manager, number 38, Roger Craig. Leading off and playing center field, number 2, Brett Butler. Batting second, the second baseman, number 6, Robbie Thompson. Hitting third, first baseman, number 22, Will Clark. Number 7, Kevin Mitchell. Hitting fifth and playing third base, number 10, Ken Oberkfell. Batting sixth, the shortstop, number 9, Matt Williams. Hitting 7th and catching, number 16, Terry Kennedy. Batting 8th and playing right field, number 25, Pat Sheridan. Batting 9th and pitching for the Giants tonight, warming up in the bullpen, number 50, Scott Gurels. And the rest of the non-starters and coaches for the San Francisco Giants.
Ladies and gentlemen, please direct your attention to center field. Presenting the colors for tonight's game, the Letterman Army Medical Center color guard from the Presidio of San Francisco. And now, ladies and gentlemen, may we ask that you please rise to honor America with the singing of our national anthem. Please welcome national recording artists Larry, Steve, and Rudy, the Gatlin Brothers.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleam? Whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
We return to Candlestick after this message courtesy of Major League Baseball and a word from our ABC stations.
In '87, it was the Twins. In '88, it was the Dodgers. Who will take home the prize in '89? Whoever it is, you can capture all the excitement again and again with the official 1989 World Series home video from CBS Fox Video Sports. To order your official video, call 1-800-4ABC-VCR. That's 1-800-4ABC-VCR. Just $19.98 plus $3 each for shipping and handling.
In the Bay Area, October, normally the best month, and a classic example today at about 5:25 on this Friday afternoon. It's gorgeous in the Bay Area. Temperature in the low 60s in San Francisco. Candlestick Park is filling up. 60,000 or so will look on tonight as we get set for the resumption of the 1989 World Series, as the American League champion Oakland A's take on the National League champion San Francisco Giants. The A's leading in the series 2-0. I'm Al Michaels. Where were we? A long, long time ago, Ricky Henderson was stealing bases and hitting home runs, and there was something about Cito Gaston saying that Dennis Eckersley was doctoring the baseball, and the A's were beating Toronto to win the American League playoffs. And a long, long time ago, Will Clark hit a single up the middle in the 8th inning against the Chicago Cubs off Mitch Williams, and the Giants won their first pennant in 27 seasons. And once upon a time, Dave Stewart pitched a shutout in Oakland in Game 1 of the World Series, and once upon a time, Mike Moore pitched very well. Eckersley came out of the pen, and Terry Steinbach hit a 3-run homer. and the Oakland A's led in the World Series 2-0. And now we're back. And now I'm back, delighted to be joined by Tim McCarver. Just share your thoughts as we get set for Game 3 here, Tim.
Well, Al, I think the question of preparedness are prominent in all of our minds. Just how prepared are these two teams to play after the long layoff? The San Francisco Giants with the best home record in the National League, 53-28. But will that be neutralized because of the layoffs and a very, very good Oakland Athletics team? As far as the Athletics are concerned, remember when we talked about the focus the Athletics had back in games 1 and 2, being beaten by the Dodgers last year? Well, you got to wonder about whether the Athletics are going to be interrupted as far as their play is concerned. I mean, after all, both teams have been off 10 days, and to allay that, Tony La Russa took his team to Phoenix, and by the way, they beat their Winter Instructional League team yesterday, 7-0, so their winning streak's still intact.
In front of several thousand fans.
Right.
They came back last night. The Giants, of course, have remained here. Jim Palmer also with us. Jim, your thoughts as we prepare now for Game 3.
Well, my thought, of course, I'm proud to be an ex-baseball player because I feel that the Commissioner of Baseball, Faye Jensen, did an outstanding job. Very sensitive to the needs of the San Francisco people and everybody in this area. But if you go back to a question, and it's a question I've gotten, who's going to dominate? Is it going to be the pitchers or going to hitters? It's going to be the pitcher. And I'm not saying that because I'm a former pitcher, but I'll tell you what, to me, the interesting question is how did each manager prepare themselves to come back here to the third game? How do you face a Dave Stewart? Well, they just took batting practice if you're Roger Craig and the Giants. Tony La Russa, and it's the thing that Al Michaels told you about in Game 1 and 2, they are focused. I believe he made them have inter-squad games because he felt they'd be better. Ricky Henderson said it best. He said, we're prepared for this game because we have faced the best pitching in baseball, our pitching.
On the subject of managers, a little earlier, our Joe Morgan talked with both managers, Roger Craig of the Giants, Tony La Russa of the A's.
Tony, you and Roger have had to deal with some circumstances unparalleled in the history of the World Series. You dealt with yours by taking your team to Phoenix. Was the weather a consideration, or you just thought you had to do something different?
Well, absolutely, Joe. The only reason to go down there was we had a forecast of rain either Wednesday or probably Thursday. Our outfield's so wet that we thought, well, to get ready, we don't want to miss some of this hitting. It turned out there were 2 beautiful days. If you'd have guaranteed that weather, we'd have been better off staying.
Were you satisfied with the performance you got down in Phoenix?
Well, we worked out fine. We got the work in. I don't think anybody could have predicted that we'd have had the crowds down there. It just showed us that I think people are very excited about baseball and are happy to see us playing it.
No batting practice today?
Well, we're going to slip in a little bit here at the end. It's a real tough time coming across San Mateo, but some way, somehow, we'll be ready for whatever Roger has in store for us.
Roger, you went about yours differently. You kept the Giants here, played a few practice games, but then you stopped that.
Well, we worked out the first 2 days after the earthquake, Joe. Then I didn't see the intensity, the desire. The players were not having any fun hitting off the guys, throwing 95 miles an hour. So I just called a day off and let them come back and just take batting practice, kind of do what they wanted to put the fun back in the game. I think the psychological effect had more to do with it than the physical effect, and I think we're as ready as we can be.
The intensity going to be there tonight?
I think so. I think you can see now, if you look around, the stands are filling up. It's going to be a great night for baseball, and I think once they throw out the first pitch, it's going to be just like it was. I don't think you'll even know what happened.
I think it'll be a good game. Let's have a good ball game.
Looking forward to it.
And that first pitch is just moments away at Candlestick Park, Game 3 of the 1989 World Series. And the pitching matchup tonight, Dave Stewart for Oakland, Scott Garrelts for San Francisco.
It has arrived.
Good morning, Mr.
Fine quality beers to be enjoyed responsibly. Remember, know when to say when. By Apple Computer, the power to be your best. And by Merrill Lynch, a financial firm built on a tradition of trust.
Ladies and gentlemen, may we direct your attention to the pitcher's mound for a very special ceremony. In the aftermath of last week's earthquake, thousands of public servants and volunteers from scores of local and regional agencies, along with hundreds of ordinary citizens, performed heroically in the rescue and recovery efforts throughout the Bay Area. In recognition of these efforts, these 12 individuals are with us this evening to represent their organizations and to symbolize their countless co-workers and neighbors who also gave unselfishly in this dark hour. Throwing out tonight's ceremonial first ball, our San Francisco firefighter, Jerry Shannon. The medical director of Oakland Highlands Hospital, Dr. Floyd Hughes. Pacific Gas and Electric Company gas serviceman, Dave Lopez. San Francisco police officer, Alvin Wong. Caltrans Associate Bridge Engineer, Steve Whipple. California Conservation Corps San Francisco Branch Volunteer, Juan Moncada. Oakland Fire Department Captain, Ron Carter. Santa Cruz County Red Cross Chapter Chairwoman, Corey Livingston. Pacific Bell District Manager, John Azez. Santa Cruz Area Salvation Army Volunteer, Shelley Cruz. California Highway Patrol Lieutenant Clifford Gray. And San Francisco Deputy Sheriff, Terry Tussey. Thank you very much, and the Bay Area salutes you for your great effort in this time of need.
An unforgettable moment at Candlestick Park in San Francisco, where this crowd, and if you were with us during the introduction of the starting lineups, naturally the Giants, this being their home park, the crowd very much into it. Very much into it. No question. Some thought perhaps the response would be somewhat muted early on and then might build. But no, sir, as the Giants take the field.
Really, the bonding and the banding together of the entire region.
Never felt better. Scott Garrelts goes to the mound for the Giants. And he was the starting pitcher in Game 1 of the World Series, which took place 13 nights ago at the Oakland Coliseum. Among the things that have happened while we were waiting for the series to resume is an entire change in both pitching rotations. In the original Game 3 a week ago Tuesday, it was going to be Don Robinson for San Francisco and Bob Welch for Oakland, and now we're back to the starters in Game 1, and the lineup for the A's with Ricky Henderson, Carney Lansford, and Jose Canseco hitting third. Mark McGuire, the cleanup hitter. Dave Henderson in center. Steinbach is the catcher. Tony Phillips at second. Walt Weiss, who homered in Game 1 off Garrelts at shortstop. And again, just to refresh you, we're in the National League Park, and that means no designated hitter. Dave Parker, the A's DH, played a big role in Games 1 and 2, but he is limited to pinch hitting duty here. The pitchers will hit Mitchell, Butler, and Sheridan in the Giant outfield. Oberkfell at third, Williams at short, Thompson at second, Clark at first. Kennedy back to the plate. Garrelts is pitching, and because the Giants in those first two games of the World Series had only 9 hits, Roger Craig was going to make these changes anyway. In Game 3 a week ago Tuesday, with Oberkfell at third, Williams over to short, and Sheridan at right.
Ricky Henderson has been, throughout the postseason, dominating. Most valuable player in the American League Championship Series. He is 5 for 8, the entire San Francisco team with 9 hits among them. And Ricky Henderson has 5 as the leadoff batter for the Oakland Athletics.
And strangely, even though he is 5 for 8, he has been much quieter in the World Series than he was against Toronto, and he dominated. So here we go. Several days later, Game 3 of the World Series is underway with a strike. And And you know that baseball is back when Henderson looks back at Voltaggio on the very first pitch of the game and questions the call.
The delay didn't change that, did it?
No. Breaking pitch away, and the count 1 ball and 1 strike. Henderson started the season with the Yankees, then came over in June and really sparked the A's. He gets fisted and grounds it to short. Matt Williams throws him out.